Hi, I'm Jim W6LG, your ham radio Elmer here on YouTube. Welcome to my radio room. What is coax? What is coax? Why is it 50 ohms? We'll find out more about that right after this. So, coax cable, what is it? Well, we're going to talk about the definition of it. And when I try to figure out who really is credited with it, there are at least three people that take credit for inventing coax cable. The first person that I could find from 1880 was Oliver Heaviside, and he had a patent. His idea was to wrap an insulation, a shield, an insulation and a shield around a conductor, forming a coax cable. Now, there are lots of variations that have occurred over time. But I think the credit goes to the patent that was issued in 1880, Oliver Heaviside at Bell Laboratories. So the word coax, what does that mean? So what does coax mean? Co as in together with another. Axial, relating to an axis or a common point, a common center point. Axis about which something rotates or centers. Coaxial then means having a common axis. And cable are wires that are in a protective casing. Here's my drawing of a coaxial cable. The dielectric is the white material in the middle, the insulating material that separates the center conductor, which is that sort of orange dot, from the shield, and then outside of that is the jacket. So we have the jacket, the shield, which can be lots of different things. It could be foil, could be a braid. The center conductor also can be lots of things. It could be something that's coated with copper. And the dielectric, again, it also can be lots of things, including a foam material or a polyethylene or maybe air. So this is a coaxial cable. So about 90 years ago, they were able to make coax cables that were roughly 30 to 75 ohms. It was found that 75 ohm coax at that time had the least loss, that 50 ohm coax or 52 ohm coax could handle the highest voltage, and that 30 ohm coax could handle the greatest power. It had the best power handling. So the theory is that 75 ohm ended up being for broadcast, television broadcast, cable TV, that kind of thing. And 52 ohm became the cable of choice. So here's how we got to 52 ohm coax. The range in impedances was 30 to 75 ohms for a total of 105 ohms divided by 2, so the average is 52.5 ohms. When I was beginning in amateur radio, the RG8 coax at that time was in fact 52 ohms. Here's an example of a large diameter coax cable, and you can sort of make out the center conductor, the foam dielectric, and the ribbed shield, which is made out of copper. So here's what the cable looks like with the jacket cut away, and this had been damaged, so I just hacksawed off a piece of it. And there's the center conductor and the foam dielectric and the ribbed copper. It's a fairly low-loss cable. Comes in different impedances, 50 and 75 ohms, I think. Also different diameters. I know of 1/2 inch and almost 1 inch. It's a very low loss, high power cable, also pretty expensive. Here's another view of that cable, and again, it was damaged. It's been in the move. It got run over, but you can see the ribbed shield and the center conductor and the dielectric material and the polyethylene, all of which has been damaged. As I mentioned at the beginning, there are lots of different kinds of coax, and this is an example. You can barely see it. It's RG174. It's about 1/8 of an inch in diameter. This is Heliax that I showed earlier. This is 1/2 inch. The Heliax I'm using to my antennas is 7/8 inch, so roughly an inch in diameter. I'm trying to cut down feedline losses. My feedline isn't long, but I want it to be as low as I can get it in terms of losses. And at the old location, when I moved, I pulled the everything I could out of some tubes that were in the ground out to a couple of towers and brought it to this location. So I have RG218, I think is the number, which is very large diameter coax, again about an inch. The Heliax LMR 400 and RG213, well, all of which I've tested, and I'm using the one with the lowest loss. So I've tried to define coax cable, coaxial, where that came from, a diagram of coax, some rough, very rough graphs of what could handle the most voltage, power, and it would have the least loss. It appears that we ended up with the average of those three at about 52 ohms. That has evolved into 50 ohm coax. The cable TV industry with RG6, RG11, for example, still uses around a 75 ohm coax, and it does have a relatively low loss, slightly lower than the same diameter 50 ohm coax. I hope that helps. If it does, please subscribe. There's a Patreon location in the description if you would like to do that too. I'm Jim, W6LG 73 from Rockland, California.